We have fought these machines. And after a century of war, I remember that which matters most. We are still here. Today, let us make them remember. We are not afraid.
But many people are afeared. Lot to be afeared about, but Generation Next, I'm getting the impression that they're developing technologies and communication abilities and getting down to all the people that don't even know what the heck's going on in the middle of the forest of we don't have a bank account. The other 4 billion plus of us, that are sitting there going, well, that might be news to you, but I'm worried about where my water's coming from, and the lion is going to get me or something. And all of a sudden, all these new technologies, the new, a lot of abilities that we have, and just space travel, robotics, being able to communicate, the speed of transportation, energy, all this stuff is just being hacked into existence for people everywhere by smart young people here. So all of it in the news and kind of just outsquit it. I'm not sure it's going to apply to them. I mean, they're just don't want to be in charge of anything. They just want to survive whatever's coming. But what's coming for a lot of the rest of us that sit here and we're affected by this? I don't know. We asked Mr. Gerald Celente. Let me go ahead and give you, what for on Gerald. Gerald Celente, publisher of the TrendsJournal. He developed a globonomic methodology to identify, track, forecast, and manage trends. He's a political atheist, unencumbered by political dogma, rigid ideology, or conventional wisdom, whatever that is. Celente, whose motto is think for yourself, observes and analyzes the current events, forming future trends for what they are, not for the way he wants them to be. And while Celente holds a U.S. passport, he considers himself a citizen of the world, but he's in traditional America, colonial kind of, retro constitutional revolutionary kind of thought. Gerald, I mean, you still have a feeling for the past, but you recognize the trends of the future. Tell us everything that's coming up this year.
Well, I can't tell you everything right away. Matter of fact, we just had a 5.5-hour conference here that's also on our website, TrendsJournal.com, of the trends that are coming up.
TrendsJournal.com.
But what you mentioned about the younger people, there are a lot of things going on here. We're just doing a piece for the next Trends Journal, and it begins talking about them. This is a generation, you take the millennial generation, born between 1980 and 2000 roughly. They grew up in a 9/11 state of mind. They've been taught and know nothing more than fear. Fear. You go to schools, I'm a guy, I'm in my late 60s. There's no such thing as cops in schools. I grew up in the Bronx and Yonkers, it wasn't Scarsdale. You didn't have to worry about these kind of things. And so what's happening is they've lost their dream in a lot of ways. Now, this isn't just speculation. You can see it in the new data coming out on how few young people are now entrepreneurs. And then there are a lot of elements beyond this. Like I mentioned, when I was I ran away from kindergarten at 4.5 years old. I crossed the Boston Post Road in the Bronx, which was the major artery before the throughways and things. If that was now, they would have had me whacked out on Ritalin. So what's happening to this whole millennium generation, between the prescription drugs and the quote illegal drugs, they're not looking forward to the future. Again, it shows in the polls. When we were growing up, every poll used to show that the future will be brighter than the past and the present. Now every poll shows the majority believe the future is dimmer than the present and the past. So this is a rough generation. Having said that, they're also ready to rock, but they need the leaders to show them the way. And the mistake that's usually made by conventional wisdom is that the change is going to come only from the young people. It's not. It's going to come from everybody. For example, you look what's going on in Spain. They have a new party, the Podemos party. A guy 36 years old, out of nowhere. Within less than a year, if this guy were to run now, he'd be prime minister. You're seeing it happening in Italy. You're seeing it happening in Greece. You're seeing it happening in Portugal. You're seeing it happening in virtually every country where they want real, because they see what's going on, is that the imbeciles in chief are destroying their nations. It's happening everywhere but here. But having said that, we are now forecasting the rise of a new third party in 2016.
A political party or a movement, or they may combine, or because I see movements coming. I'm not sure. Still voting. I mean, is that they're seeing that as an option?
Well, but not the option between the Bloods and the Crips. And that's, to me, is what the Democrats and Republicans are. And I don't say that sarcastically. They're murderers and they're thieves. If you just had me on your show, and this is the first time, and I said to you, I'm really good at killing people.
Well, you should be president.
You would think I'm a lunatic. But people won't call a lunatic, a psychopath a psychopath, or a sociopath a sociopath. Whether it's Obama, whether it's Cheney, whether it's Bush, whether it's the Clintons. They're murderers and thieves. They steal our money in the names of too big to fail and to give it to their buddies. So going back to your question, no, they're not going to vote for the lesser of two evils or the better of two murderers and thieves. That's why we were talking and I say, they just had an election over there in Russia. Those Russians, we gotta hate them. And you know what? Only 36% of the people voted. Yeah, that's right, Ernest. What happened was most of them would rather stay home, 74%. You'd say, my God, what kind of country did they have there? Well, that's what happened in the United States. So, no, they're not going to vote for them. One of the things we're going to do, by the way, on May 2nd, in 2015, coming up, at the most historic cross-section in the United States, the only place where there's a pre-Revolutionary War stone building on each corner, right here in colonial Kingston, New York, we're launching Occupy Peace. And anyone could go to the website. We just put it up recently, occupypeace.us. This is only for Americans. And it's to honor thy founding fathers. Each one of them, beginning with Washington, who is a real commander-in-chief, not a guy that plays basketball, shoots pool, plays golf, or drives pickup trucks. This is the real deal, the guy that led the troops. His farewell address, no foreign entanglements. Well, Celente, it was different. No, it wasn't. The world was at war back then.
Human nature's the same. It's just the stage gets better lighting.
You got well put. So you had Washington, you had Jefferson, you had Franklin, you had Madison, you had Adams, every one of our founding fathers, no foreign entanglements. Now we got these little creeps that have us into endless wars. Occupy Peace this is going to be like no rally anybody's ever seen.
Occupy Peace. Where's the rally going to be? There? In
right, in colonial Kingston at the historic Four Corners.
Partay. I don't know. You got enough room? These Four Corners colonial era was kind of smaller, but it's always good to look packed, Well, if Gerald Celente wants a packed house out in front of his building, I guarantee he's going to get one.
My name is Jacob Hornberger.
Well, that's cool. That's cool. We had Cindy Sheehan and Angela Keaton from Anti-War come on, and she was really pushing for an event in Washington, D.C. that'd be, whatever. And I'm I'm jaded on gatherings to where, yes, and if you don't get your permit or you don't do it right or we don't like it, we just get the orange netting and swoop you up and put you in some camp or something. And I'm going, I don't. Who am I trying to convince? I'm just, what is the goal?
That's what I want you to ask me.
Okay.
Because that's what I was about to say. This is going to be like no rally anyone's seen. We're going to have takeaways. We have a battle plan for peace. We're going to have specific things that we need to have done. And we have a whole team of lawyers working on this now to get propositions on every state budget, for example, state ballot, for example, that we will tell Washington how much money we give for the Defense Department. We want to bring home all of the troops.
If you can, we in the 90s, we still do this kind of stuff, but in the 90s, we published a newspaper called CTI, Citizens Take an Initiative. We would file dozens of initiatives in the state. They changed all kinds of laws because of us being a butthead. And we would file these initiatives as demonstration of, this is what we want. And a bunch of them became bills. That's where our unrestricted concealed carry came from, was the beginning in 94 of us doing Second Amendment is for everyone. Are you a safe legislator? That kind of thing. And so the initiative process, I got you covered, man. I already know, man, rock and roll, got the templates, push the button. But, I just need to make sure whatever we do to help would be to further the concept of you don't rule us. I don't want, you rule me better. I'd rather, Arizona be secede. I mean, I don't want to recognize.
Well, that's why we're saying that we'll tell you, the representatives, how much of our money we want you to give to them.
How about I want none you take?
You're not going to take anything from us. That's going to be the whole deal.
I'm hip. I'm whatever we can do to promote.
So
and help.
Anything you could do, and any names that you could give me, like these people. These Washington rallies are a waste of time.
Donna, do me a favor. Send him the show with Angela and Cindy. Then send him the sizes for the banner ads and highlight the 600-120, the 728-90, and the 160-600. What I'll do is I'll give you some banner ads for, however long to promote your thing on the site and kind of go check out and whatever. I don't care.
Great,
but you need to send, I'm not going to be your secretary or graphic artist.
No.
You got to send me the banner ads.
We'll get it. Yeah, we'll do everything.
All right.
Yeah.
And then,
we're into
link.
this. Believe me. And we have major people that are going to may sign on too. I've had it with this stuff.
Well, there's something else coming. We should, I'll let you go ahead and finish up on your rally. We only got you for another segment, but I want you to, or we can go longer if you got it. But I tell you, I want to, also hear about what you think's going to happen economically and abandonment of the dollar.
That's tied into it. That's why they're doing all of this stuff, what's going on in France in the war on terror.
Right.
Because this thing is collapsing and you have revolutions going on throughout Europe.
Well, see, my thing is I've been going, St. Louis Arch, Golden Gate Bridge toast. And the point that I mean is that they're going to mushroom cloud something to pay attention to us and be afeared and something.
You got it.
They have to. All right, here we go.
You got it.
Broadcast.lrn.fm to learn how. Broadcast.lrn.fm.
To be a part of the show, call 602-264-2800. 602-264-2800. And now, Ernest Hancock.
About a rally for peace and our time, and can we have some peace and quit piecemealing me and they're bad and we're want to recognize it. So my thing has been all this stuff is predictable. What you're seeing happen around the world. There's a lot of, you don't see it in the news a lot here. That not that am I allowed not to care, but. You have young people and entire, I would say, what demographics It'll be whatever they are, older, younger, minor workers, somebody. They're mad, and they're in the streets all over the world, in Hong Kong, in Spain, in Italy, in France. And what do we have? All of a sudden, we've got to rally the people around, and we laid waste to an editorial board in the newspaper. I hadn't even looked yet. I mean, we have some of the stories up and so on, but I just wait 3 weeks because I know it's all BS until after a few weeks you find out, these Muslim terrorists were training with the shoe bomber guy in the CIA funded of the whatever. I mean, it's always this kind of stuff. So I'm thinking that they're going to need a big, giant fear of pay attention to us or you're all going to die. And when you have all these young people, they don't watch broadcast television anymore. They select their news. I don't see anything on the horizon where I'm looking right here. And I'm not sure that's a bad thing because all of this worldwide, whatever, they'll focus on the little village of whatever. You should be afraid. And they're not. So they got to make you afraid because fear is a mind killer. Gerald Celente, help me out here, man.
No, it is. Fear stops everything. And so what we're doing with Occupy Peace, and we're saying this is going to be different. This is a battle plan for peace. They're going to be takeaways. This isn't going to be yelling and screaming. No, this is going to be to change the future. One of the things that we want to do is, again, with no foreign entanglements, bring home all the troops, close the bases, seal the country up. We got enough people here. Rebuild America. All this money, why Eisenhower warned us about this. The military-industrial complex taking over the nation, robbing us of the genius of the scientists, sweat of the laborers, and future of the children. Here we are. And you nailed it. This whole thing went on in France. Let's get this straight. 2 young guys out of their minds, coming from nothing, having nothing, with a lot of hatred in them, not for nothing either, Hey, remember Abu Ghraib? What about Guantanamo? Hey, how about the millions of people that Americans have killed, and the French, and the English, in Iraq, in Afghanistan? Hey, how about that little war that Sarkozy, that little piece of junk, started over there in Libya, that Obama and Hillary Clinton and Samantha Powers and Susan Rice supported. They're only Libyans. Hey, what about what just happened in Gaza? It's only 2,200 Palestinians, and they only destroyed 90,000 homes. Stop. They killed 17 white people in France. 2 guys. I forgot the one guy in Australia. I forgot him, too. So this is a whole terrorist network. All this fear. And now they got 10,000 troops out on the street. They're doing this because the economies are collapsing.
Yeah, no. What came out of this?
Revolution in the streets.
What came out of this, Gerald? This is what happened. I see the story yesterday. Prime Minister, the United King Cameron, whatever, wants to have the Crown authorizes certain apps, and we must have the encryption and surveillance. You're not allowed to be private, and we track you. And you go, George Orwell is alive and well.
This is what I'm saying. It's clear as can be. This is all being put in place there and here because it goes back to when people lose everything and have nothing left to lose, they lose it. And right now, you are seeing the equity markets around the world losing it. The last fraudulent aspect of pretending that there was a recovery. You're looking at one market after another going down. The Dow now is down 155 points. It was down much more than that.
I don't even keep
Yesterday it was up. Yesterday it was up 282, and then closed down about 28.
Well, with inflation, of the dollar, its purchasing power, and with they keep changing the companies. The Dow is 30 companies that 10 years ago the half of them weren't even the same. They just keep. It's a game.
It's a game.
It's just a game.
That's one of our trends, by the way, is the grand manipulation. And another trend we have out of 2015 is bankism. This is not capitalism. Period, paragraph, 4 words killed it. Too big to fail. In capitalism, there's no such thing. The banks are in control of this entire country. The only reason the equity markets are up is because of all the cheap dough they flooded into the market, the central banks, all of the money that they're allowing the big banks to borrow at virtually nothing, 0.25, and then loaning it back to us with anything that they could get, including payday loan rates at 700%. And the other one is that corporations are borrowing the money cheaply and buying back their stock and mergers and acquisitions. End of the story. No recovery. Only the richer got richer.
Well,
85 people in the world have more dough than 3.5 million. That's a fact.
3.5 billion?
Billion. I said million. I meant billion.
Billion. The one thing that I'm
half the world's population.
Not that there's anything wrong with that per se, except the way they did it. And this king-granted monopoly of you're not allowed to compete. No, when we go down, you got to bail our crap out. Oh, that's another thing. How did the taxpayers get on the hook for all these derivatives that are out there and stuff? The next washout that's coming, we're going to be signing up our yet-born kids to pay it again. What's up with that?
Well, they did it. Matter of fact, that's a story in the TrendsJournal as well coming out, and that's being written by Nomi Prinz, who wrote that great book, All the President's Bankers. So you had Jamie Dimon from J.P. Morgan Chase, all of the guys calling up Congress, Obama and the rest of them, and they just slaughtered the Dodd-Frank bill. Now we're covering their losses on collateralized debt obligations, all this other garbage. And it's just like FDIC now, insurance.
I got to tell you this, Gerald, before we run out of time. I went to the Consumer Electronics Show for a week and I've been going there for like 5-6 years. And you always see the next little new gizmo gadget that's going to whatever. I tell you what's rising up, this Bitcoin thing. There's way more development in there than I anticipated and where this is going. Is that even a blip on your radar?
Yeah, we've been covering this from the beginning, and I always made it clear it just doesn't sound right to me. It reminds me of the dot-com boom. And you see what's going on with Bitcoin. Why would I want it? We did a story, Bitcoins, bucks, or bullion. What would you rather have? And you see Bitcoins went from, I think they hit a high of about 1150. Now they're down to about 250.
Well, you know what Bitcoin is to me? It's a really easy, fast, cheap way of moving my bullion. I'm going, yay! Oh, Gerald Celente. Where do you want to send them to? You at TrendsResearch.com. We'll probably get you everything you want to know about. And give out the webpage real quick for your peace initiative.
OccupyPeace.us.
All right.
This is Donna Han.